Have you ever imagined a world where poverty is the norm and wealth is a rarity? A world where everyone is struggling to survive and the only thing that matters is strength and determination. In this world, the Stoics would thrive. They would embrace the challenges of poverty and use them as an opportunity to grow stronger. They would learn to live with less and to appreciate the simple things in life. But what if this world was not just a hypothetical scenario? What if it was a reality that was waiting for us in the future? Imagine waking up one day to find that the economy has collapsed and your money is worthless. Imagine that you have lost your job and your home. Imagine that you are now living on the streets, fighting for scraps of food. This is the world that the Stoics prepared for. They knew that adversity could strike at any time, and they were prepared to face it head-on. But what about you? Are you prepared to face the challenges of this new world? Imagine that you are walking down the street when you see a group of people huddled together. They are all dressed in rags and their faces are gaunt and hollow. You realize that these people are starving. You stop and ask them if they need help. They nod their heads, but they don't say anything. You reach into your pocket and give them all the money you have. They look up at you with gratitude in their eyes. But then their expressions change to fear. They point to something behind you. You turn around and see a man walking towards you. He is tall and muscular, and he has a cruel look on his face. He is carrying a knife. You realize that you have made a mistake. You should have never stopped to help those people. The man raises his knife and charges at you. You try to run, but it's too late. He catches up to you and stabs you in the back. You fall to the ground, bleeding and gasping for breath. You look up at the man and see that he is smiling. He turns and walks away, leaving you to die. It is a horrific world, but it is also a world where the Stoics would thrive. A world where the poorest people are the most disciplined, the most stoic, and the most resilient. A world where wealth is not a curse, but a test. A world where the richest people are the most moderate, the most hard-working, and the most orderly. This is the world of the Stoics. The Stoics were a group of ancient Greek and Roman philosophers who believed that the key to a happy and fulfilling life was to focus on what you can control and accept what you cannot. They believed that poverty was not something to be feared, but rather a test of character. They taught that living in poverty could be an opportunity to develop virtues such as resilience, courage, and self-discipline. They also believed that wealth was not necessarily a bad thing. However, they warned that wealth could also be a source of temptation and corruption. They taught that it was important to be moderate in one's spending and to use one's wealth to help others. In the world of the Stoics, poverty is not a punishment but a challenge. It is a chance to prove yourself and to become a better person. But what if the world of the Stoics is not the world we live in? What if poverty is not a challenge, but a curse? What if it is a trap that keeps us from living our best lives? What if wealth is not a test, but a temptation that leads us to destruction? This is the world we live in, a world where poverty is a badge of shame and a sign of weakness, a world where wealth is a symbol of success and a source of power, a world where the poor are marginalized and the rich are glorified. In this world, the Stoics are a threat. They challenge our assumptions about poverty and wealth. They force us to confront the dark side of our own nature. They show us that we are all capable of great things, regardless of our circumstances. But they also show us that we are all capable of great evil, regardless of our wealth. It is a world where the lines between good and evil are blurred. It is a world where anything is possible. But it is also a world of hope. It is a world where we have the power to choose our own destiny. It is a world where we can create a better future for ourselves and for others. But first, we must confront the darkness within us. We must face our fears and our insecurities. We must accept that we are all capable of great things and great evil. Only then can we begin to build the world of the Stoics. A world where poverty is not a shame but an opportunity. A world where wealth is not a curse but a test. A world where we are all free to choose our own destiny. Otherwise, there's a world where everything is wrong and bad, and you are in that world. The world is a dark and dangerous place, full of hidden horrors and lurking dangers. But nowhere is this more true than in the realm of the mind. For it is in the depths of our own psyches that the darkest shadows dwell and the most terrifying monsters reside. Imagine a world where your every thought is turned against you, where your deepest fears are brought to life, and where your darkest secrets are exposed. A world where the line between reality and illusion is blurred, and where nothing is quite as it seems. What if I told you that this world is not a place of nightmares, but rather a place of great opportunity for learning and growth? We should not fear our challenges, but rather see them as opportunities to learn and grow. The Stoics believe that even the most difficult experiences can teach us something about ourselves and the world around us. The world we perceive is not always an accurate reflection of reality. Our thoughts and beliefs can shape our perception of the world, and sometimes we can create our own suffering by dwelling on negative thoughts and fears. This is the world of the Stoics. The Stoics taught us that we can control our own thoughts and emotions, and that we can choose how we respond to the world around us. We can choose to see our challenges as opportunities, and we can choose to focus on the positive aspects of our lives. The Stoics were a group of ancient philosophers. They taught that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. They also believed that we should live a virtuous life, even in the face of adversity. The Stoics were not afraid of death. They believed that death was a natural part of life and that it was something to be accepted. However, they were afraid of a different kind of death, the death of the soul. The Stoics believed that the death of the soul occurred when we allowed ourselves to be controlled by our emotions and desires. They taught that we should be masters of our own minds and that we should never allow ourselves to be enslaved by our passions. The Stoics lived in a time of great uncertainty and upheaval. The Roman Empire was in decline, and the world was on the brink of collapse. But even in the midst of this chaos, the Stoics were able to find peace and contentment. This is because the Stoics understood that the true source of happiness is not external, but internal. They knew that happiness comes from within, and that it is not dependent on external factors such as wealth, possessions, or status. The Stoics' teachings are still relevant today. In a world that is constantly changing, the Stoics offer us a way to find peace and contentment in the midst of uncertainty. They teach us how to master our own minds and how to live a virtuous life, even in the face of adversity. Now, imagine that you are one of the Stoics. You are living in a world that is dark and dangerous. You are surrounded by enemies, both seen and unseen, but you are not afraid. You know that the only thing that can truly harm you is the death of your soul. You stand tall and proud, facing the world with your head held high. You know that you are strong and that you can overcome any challenge that comes your way. If you are worried about the future, remember the teachings of the Stoics. Focus on what you can control, accept what you cannot control, and live a virtuous life. By following the teachings of the Stoics, you may be able to survive the challenges that the future holds. But even if you don't survive, you will have lived a good and meaningful life. If you are facing poverty, or if you are worried about the future, remember the teachings of the Stoics. Focus on what you can control, accept what you cannot control, and live a virtuous life. Here are some specific ways to apply Stoicism to your life in the face of poverty. The most important things in life are not material possessions, but rather the relationships we have with our loved ones. Cherish your relationships and make time for the people you care about. Be grateful for what you have. Even if you have very little, there is always something to be grateful for. Take some time each day to reflect on the good things in your life, no matter how small they may seem. Help others. One of the best ways to cope with your own problems is to help others. Find a cause that you are passionate about and volunteer your time. Helping others will give you a sense of purpose and meaning. Remember, you are not alone. There are millions of people around the world who are facing poverty, but by following the teachings of the Stoics, you can overcome adversity and live a good and better life. But one thing is for sure, wealth is a test of our character, of our strength, and of our wisdom. What will you do with your wealth? Will you let it corrupt you, or will you use it to make the world a better place? The choice is yours. And the poverty is not a shame. It is a challenge. It is a test. It is an opportunity. We all have a limited amount of time on this planet. We all have a limited number of days to live. So what will you do with your time? Will you spend it living in a rat race, doing things you don't want to do just to get by? Or will you use your time to grow yourself and become the best version of yourself, to be the most relevant and meaningful for others, to be the person who people will remember in centuries? Think about it. What do you want to leave behind? Do you want to leave behind courage, knowledge, your own experiences? Or do you want to leave behind your mistakes, your regrets, your dreams that you never achieved? Because the truth is, we all die one day, and the only thing that will matter then is what we leave behind. You have already wasted 15,000 days of your life living in a rat race. Is that what you want to continue doing? Don't you want to leave behind something more? Something that will make a difference in the world? Something that will be remembered? The choice is yours. Don't waste your time. Don't live in a rat race. Leave behind something good. Be remembered for who you are, not for what you have. Make a difference in the world. I hope this video has challenged your perspective on life. If it has, then I'm glad. I hope you will use your time wisely and leave behind something good. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with others who really need it.